My wife promised my stepson my business. Now he's furious I won't give it to him. When I met Linda 12 years ago, she was a single mother working 2 jobs and barely keeping things together. Her son, Adam, was 9, quiet, polite, and a little too old for his age. I admired that about him. I admired her, too, her resilience, her kindness, the way she could make a cramped apartment feel like home. At that point, I had already built my business from the ground up. It wasn't glamorous, a logistics and warehouse company, mostly regional, but it was stable, profitable, and mine. I'd poured every ounce of myself into it after my first marriage failed. My company was my second life. So, when Linda and I started dating, I made it clear that I wasn't looking for someone to depend on me financially. I wanted a partner, not an employee, not an investor, and certainly not someone in the business. She said she understood, and for years, I believed her. Fast forward to today. Adam is 21, just graduated from business school, and apparently, I'm supposed to hand him my company. The company I built before he was even born. The first signs of trouble came last Christmas. We were sitting around the dinner table, me, Linda, and Adam, when he suddenly brought up plans for the future. I assumed he meant looking for jobs, internships, or maybe talking about grad school. But then he said something that froze the room. I've been thinking, he said casually. Once I'm done with college, I'll start working at the company. Mom said I could take over after a few years. I remember choking on my drink. Linda shot him a look, one of those silent, warning stares. But the damage was done. Take over, I repeated slowly. As in, run my business? Adam nodded, smiling, completely oblivious to my shock. Yeah, Mom told me years ago that it was kind of the plan, that you were grooming me to take over someday. I've been studying management because of it. Linda's face went pale. Adam, she hissed, we'll talk about this later. But it was too late. My mind was already spiraling. That night, after Adam went to bed, I confronted her. Why would you tell him that? I demanded. Why would you promise something that isn't yours to promise? She looked genuinely confused, as if I was being unreasonable. I just wanted to motivate him, she said. You know how hard it was to get him to take school seriously. He needed something to aim for. So, you decided my company would be his goal. It's not like it would hurt you, she shot back. He's practically your son. You've raised him. I pinched the bridge of my nose. I've helped raise him, but that doesn't mean I owe him my life's work. Her expression hardened. You always say family comes first, Mark. Well, he is family. That doesn't mean he's entitled to everything I've built. The argument lasted hours. She cried. I yelled. Nothing was resolved. Since then, things have been tense. Adam graduated 2 weeks ago and showed up at my office the very next Monday. No call, no warning, just walked in wearing a suit, shaking hands with my employees, introducing himself as the future of the company. I nearly lost it. When I pulled him aside, he seemed genuinely hurt that I was angry. Mom said you'd have a position ready for me, he said. I thought maybe assistant manager or junior partner. Adam, I said, trying to stay calm, I never agreed to that. His face fell. What do you mean? I mean, I'm not giving you the company. Not now. Not ever. At least not unless you earn it. He looked stunned, then angry. So, you're going back on your word? My word. I never gave it. He stormed out of the office. 10 minutes later, Linda called me, screaming, crying, saying I humiliated her son. That night, Adam didn't come home. I wish that was the end of it, but it's only gotten worse since. Adam's been talking to employees behind my back, trying to learn the business. Linda's been cold and distant, barely speaking to me except to defend him. And a few of my senior managers have started asking awkward questions. Apparently, Adam's been telling people he's taking over soon. I don't know what's worse, the betrayal or the disbelief that the two people I loved most could think I just hand over everything because of some conversation I was never even part of. And the scariest part of me wonders if Linda's been planning this all along. A few days after Adam's unannounced visit to my office, things spiraled even further. It was a Thursday morning when I got a call from one of my oldest employees, Carla. She's been with me since the beginning, loyal, sharp, the kind of person who knows when something's wrong. Mark, she said quietly, you should probably know. Adam's been telling the warehouse team that you're stepping down soon. He's even been asking about supplier contracts and financials. I felt my stomach twist. He what? I didn't say anything, she added quickly. But people are confused. They think there's going to be some kind of transition. By the time I hung up, my hands were shaking. I tried calling Linda, but she didn't answer. So I drove straight home. When I walked in, she was sitting in the kitchen, scrolling through her phone like nothing was wrong. Where's Adam? I asked, my voice tight. At the gym, I think. Why? Because I just got a call saying he's been walking around my business like he owns it. Linda sighed, like she'd been expecting this conversation. Mark, you're overreacting. He's just trying to learn. You should be proud of him. Proud. He's undermining me in front of my own employees. You had no right to tell him he's getting my company. She put her phone down slowly and met my eyes. You've built something incredible, she said, her tone softening. But you can't take it with you. Don't you want to leave a legacy? Someone to carry it on? I lean on the counter, exhaling through my teeth. A legacy is something you choose to pass down, not something someone steals while you're still alive. That got her attention. Her expression darkened. Don't call it stealing, she snapped. You've treated Adam like he's less than your real son. I don't have a real son, I interrupted, my voice rising. He's the only one I've got, and that's exactly why this hurts. She didn't say anything for a long moment. Then she looked away, her voice trembling slightly. You don't understand what this means to him, she whispered. You weren't there when he was little. His real father walked out when he was 2. He's always wanted someone to believe in him. I told him what I thought you'd eventually say. So, you lied to him, I said coldly. I motivated him by promising him something that was never yours to give. Tears welled in her eyes. You think I meant to hurt you? I just wanted him to feel like part of this family. I ran a hand over my face. You could have done that without dragging my business into it. But she didn't answer. She just stared past me, her jaw tight, like she was hiding something. That night, I found out what it was. I was in the office late, catching up on invoices when my accountant called. Mark, I need to ask, did you authorize a $40,000 transfer to Adam's account last month? I froze. What? No. Well, it was from your joint account with Linda. Labeled as business development. My pulse quickened. Send me the statement. When I opened the email, my heart sank. There it was, the transaction, along with several smaller payments over the past 6 months, all signed by Linda. I didn't even go home that night. I couldn't. The next morning, when I finally walked in, she was sitting at the table again, same calm expression, coffee in hand like nothing was wrong. Why do you do it? I asked quietly. She blinked. Do what? The money. Don't play dumb. Her face drained of color. Mark, I can explain. Then explain. She hesitated. It was for Adam. He wanted to start an online branch for your company, modernize it. He said he needed seed money. And you believed him. I wanted to surprise you, she said weakly. He told me he'd prove himself before coming to you. I laughed, a bitter, humorless sound. So, you took our money. Lied to me. Let him march into my business and announce he's the heir. That's your definition of proving himself. Her lip trembled. I thought it would make you proud. Proud? I stepped back, shaking my head. You and I built a family on honesty, Linda. At least I thought we did. But this is betrayal. Tears streamed down her face, but I couldn't feel sympathy. Not yet. Later that evening, Adam came home. I was waiting in the living room. He barely looked at me. Mom said you found out. Yeah, I said evenly. You want to tell me your side? He crossed his arms. I was trying to help. Your business is outdated. You still run things like it's 2005. I wanted to show you I could make it better by stealing from me. I didn't steal. Mom gave me the money. It wasn't hers to give. His expression hardened. You're just mad because you know I can run it better. I stood up, my voice low but steady. You're not running anything. Not my business. Not my life. And if you ever set foot in that warehouse again, I'll have you escorted out. His eyes widened. You do that to me. To someone who disrespects everything I've built. Yes. He glared at me, then stormed out the front door, slamming it so hard the walls shook. Linda didn't follow him. She just sat at the table, staring into nothing. And in that silence, I realized something painful. My marriage wasn't built on love anymore. It was built on an illusion, one I'd mistaken for family. The weekend was the longest I'd experienced in years. Adam didn't come home. Linda barely spoke. The house, once warm and full of laughter, felt like a cold courtroom where I was the defendant, accused of crimes I didn't commit. On Monday, the fallout began at work. I arrived early, hoping to regain some control, only to find a group of my managers huddled together in whispers. Carla approached me first, her face pale. Mark, we need to talk. I nodded, bracing myself. Go ahead. Adam's been calling clients, she said quietly, and some suppliers are asking if he's the new owner. There's confusion. Some contracts have been signed under his name. People are taking him seriously. I felt a cold rage surge through me. He doesn't own anything. I know. But they don't know that, Carla said. And some of the younger staff, they're starting to side with him. I gritted my teeth. I need to see him. Carla hesitated. He won't talk to you directly. Linda's been defending him. I went home that evening, determined to confront both of them. But when I walked through the door, it wasn't Adam I saw first. It was Linda. She was sitting at the kitchen table, arms crossed, her face set in that stubborn mask I had come to recognize. I think we need to have a serious conversation, I said. About what? She asked innocently. About you, Adam, and this entire circus you've created. I can't run my business and watch my family turn against me. She laughed bitterly. Your business? Adam's been trying to help you modernize it. You're stuck in the past. He's the future. The future, I repeated. You promised him the future of my company behind my back. Her eyes flickered with something I didn't expect, fear. I just wanted to see him succeed. He's worked so hard, Mark. You have to see that. I see it, I said, my voice trembling. I see betrayal. I see you undermining everything I've built. I see a son who thinks he can take what's not his. Adam appeared at the doorway then, tall, broad-shouldered, and furious. You're overreacting, Dad. Mom was right. I can do this. I'm ready. No, you're not, I said, stepping closer. You don't understand the responsibility. You don't understand the loyalty it takes. The decisions I've made, the sacrifices. This isn't a game. I've studied all of it, Adam shot back. I've been preparing for this my whole life. By lying, scheming, and using people who trusted you. I countered. He froze. And for a moment, I thought he might realize the gravity of what he'd done. But then his jaw tightened, and his voice dropped to a dangerous calm. Either you give me control, or I'll find a way to make everyone believe it's mine anyway. I stared at him, the weight of his words sinking in. Threats from your own child. This is a nightmare no parent should endure. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat in my study, staring at the city skyline, trying to plan my next move. My mind raced with options, all risky. I could confront Linda directly, demand a full explanation and apology. I could shut Adam out completely, but risk escalating his rebellion. Or I could fight fire with fire, using legal measures to secure the company and expose the lies to everyone involved. By morning, I had made my decision. I called Adam into the office. He walked in, confident, maybe expecting an apology, maybe expecting me to cave. Sit down, I said, my voice calm but firm. He hesitated, then did. You're angry, he said. Understandably, I replied. But it's not just anger, it's disappointment. You've broken trust, mine, your mother's, and even your own. Adam's face hardened. So what now? Now, I said, leaning forward. You either earn your place legitimately, following every rule, respecting every process, proving yourself like an adult, or you walk away. No threats, no shortcuts, no stolen money. You want this company? You earn it. He looked stunned, then angry. You think you can control everything forever? I don't have to control everything forever, I said. I just have to control my business. And if you can't respect that, then you're on your own. Adam's hands trembled slightly, and for the first time, I saw doubt in his eyes. The next week, the tension was unbearable. Linda avoided me completely, whispering to Adam whenever I was in another room. He tried to push boundaries, but I held firm. I brought in lawyers to clarify ownership, lock down accounts, and reminded staff of the chain of command. Some employees whispered behind my back. Some sided with Adam, but the majority stayed loyal. Slowly, the chaos began to settle. One evening, after a long day, I found Linda in the living room. She looked exhausted, her defenses down. I'm sorry, Mark, she said softly. I thought I was helping. I see now I only made things worse. I studied her for a long moment. Do you understand why I can't just forgive this? Yes, she whispered. I understand. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. As for Adam, he left for a summer internship in another city. He called occasionally, polite but distant. No threats, no ultimatums. For now, the company was mine again, intact. But the damage remained, the trust. The bond I thought unbreakable had been fractured. I realized something crucial. Even when you survive betrayal, the shadow of it lingers. And yet, for the first time in weeks, I felt a quiet sense of control returning. I wasn't defeated. I wasn't powerless. I still had the life I built, and I would protect it, whatever it took. Because some things aren't meant to be promised lightly. Some things, like trust, loyalty, and your own hard-earned legacy, can't be handed over, no matter how persuasive the person asking. The summer was quiet, but it wasn't peaceful. Adam's absence gave me space to breathe, but the tension lingered. Like a shadow in every room, every conversation, Linda and I spoke only when necessary, and each word felt measured, careful, loaded with the weight of unspoken apologies and regrets. I spent hours in the office, reorganizing, auditing, and securing my business. Every contract, every account, every employee, I double-checked them all. It wasn't just about protecting the company. It was about reclaiming my sense of control, my peace of mind. One evening, as I sat alone in the study, Carla came in. "Mark," she said softly, "things are stabilizing. Most of the staff are back on board. They know you're in charge, and they trust you. You've handled this well." I nodded, but a bitter edge lingered. "It's not just the business. It's my family. That's what hurts the most." Carla hesitated. "Sometimes people make mistakes to protect the ones they love, even if it hurts." I looked at her, the irony not lost on me. Sometimes the ones they love are the ones they betray. She didn't answer. She didn't have to. The truth hung in the room like smoke. Linda returned from her yoga class that night, quiet and tentative. "Mark," she said, voice low, I want to fix this. I know I can't undo what happened, but I want to try." I studied her face, searching for sincerity. The pleading eyes, the exhaustion, the vulnerability, all of it was real. Or maybe I just wanted it to be real. "Linda," I said carefully, "this isn't just about apologies. It's about trust. You promised Adam something you had no right to promise. You lied to both of us. That changes things." "I know," she whispered. "I see that now. I want to make it right, whatever that means." I nodded slowly. "Then you need to step back. No more interfering. Adam's not ready. You need to let me handle this." She swallowed hard and nodded. "I can't do that." The next call came from Adam. "Dad," he said, voice tight, "I know I screwed up. I thought I was doing the right thing. Mom told me you'd understand." I closed my eyes, taking a deep breath. "Adam, it's not just about understanding. It's about earning trust. You want a place in this company? You have to prove yourself, honestly, without taking shortcuts, without lying, without threats." "I can do that," he said quietly. The fire in his voice replaced with something calmer, more tentative. "Then start with respect," I said. "Respect for the people who've worked hard. Respect for the rules. Respect for me. You do that, and maybe someday, there's a place for you here." "I understand," he said, and for the first time, I believed him. Over the next months, things slowly returned to a semblance of normal. Adam found an internship in a reputable firm, learning the ropes outside of my influence. Linda focused on her own projects, occasionally checking in, but never overstepping. And I rebuilt, not just the business, but the fragile foundation of my family. It wasn't perfect. It never would be. But I learned something crucial. Leadership isn't about handing over power to the people you love. It's about teaching, guiding, and sometimes saying no, even when it hurts. One evening, a year after the confrontation, I watched Adam leave for his internship with a small suitcase and a nervous smile. Linda waved from the porch, and I felt a pang of bittersweet relief. I walked back into the house, into the quiet I had almost forgotten, and realized the business was safe. Yes, but more importantly, I had set boundaries, and those boundaries preserved who I was. I poured a glass of whiskey, then sat by the window, thinking about everything that had happened, the lies, the betrayal, the anger, and the hard lessons. Sometimes, the people you love most will test you in ways you never expect. They will try to take from you, to reshape your world for their own dreams. And sometimes, you will have to stand firm, even when it breaks your heart, because life isn't about avoiding pain. It's about protecting what's yours, holding on to what matters, and teaching the people around you that love doesn't mean entitlement. Months later, Adam called. "Dad," he said, quieter this time, "I just wanted to say, thank you for not giving up on me, for making me earn it. I understand now." I smiled, a rare, genuine smile. "Good. That's all I ever wanted for you to understand. You have time, learn, grow. Then we'll see what the future holds." And in that moment, I realized something profound. Trust, respect, and integrity aren't given freely. Not even to family. They are earned. And when you finally see it reflected back, that's when you know you've survived the storm, and you're stronger for it. I leaned back in my chair, the city lights twinkling beyond the window, and felt the quiet satisfaction of someone who had fought, survived, and learned the most difficult lesson of all. Love without boundaries can destroy, but love with boundaries protects. The company was mine. The family was healing. And finally, after everything, I could breathe again.